Welcome back. In the previous video, we created our first class in Python, created a few instances of it, and tried to set some data into it. In this step, let's do the same thing in an IDE. We are going to use PyCharm, and we are going to create a new project to be able to do that. So what I'll do is go to File, I'll say New Project, and I'll give the name as 02 oops and say create. I'll choose to open it in the current window and I'll say add it to the currently opened projects. So let's see what would happen. You can see that the project is listed right here so that I can now work on both these projects together. It will take a little while. It does a lot of stuff to make sure that the entire project is set up. And at the end of it, we have our oops project ready. Now, how can I create a new Python file? We have been doing it multiple times. Control N and say new Python file. And I would want to create a file with the name oops basics and say okay. Now, what we'll do in this video is we'll create a simple class. We'll want to call the class as motorbike. We would create a few instances of this specific class. How can we define a class? Very simple, right? Class motorbike. Isn't that cool? And followed by a colon. And for now, let's have it as an empty class. How do I create instances of the class? I just need to say Honda is equal to motorbike. Ducati is equal to motorbike. I'll go ahead and print these objects. So I'll do print of Honda and print of Ducati. Let's see what would happen. I'll do a right click, run oops basics. You can see that two objects are being printed. Now, I can also add a little bit of state to these motorbikes, right? So each of these motorbikes might be having an initial starting speed. So let's say Honda.speed is equal to, let's say the starting speed is 50 miles per hour. And Ducati.speed is equal to 25 or 250, whichever one you'd like. Now what we have is two instances of the motorbike class and we have initialized the speeds for them as well. So in addition to the objects, we can also try and print the current state of Honda. What's the current speeds of Honda? If you look at it, it would print 50 and 250. The thing about state of an object is it can change during the lifetime of the object. I can do now Honda.speed is equal to 150. What we are doing in here is we are changing the state of the object Honda. And if you actually print Honda.speed after this, what would be the output? Let's see what it would be. It's printing 150 because we changed the speed of Honda. However, we have not changed the speed of Ducati. So what do you think will be the output when I say print Ducati.speed? It would remain 250. When I printed the speed of Honda here, it was 50. However, when I print the speed of Honda here, the state changed. It became 150. However, Ducati's speed did not change because we did not change the value of the attribute speed. Until now, we created a simple class, we created a couple of instances, we set some state into it, and we saw that state of an object can change during the duration of a program. Now, you can pause the video in here, and I would recommend you to create a new class. So I'll recommend you to create a new class called book. I would recommend you to create 3 instances of the book object. So create 3 instances, have your favorite books as the names of the object instances, and for each of these instances have an attribute or a property by the name and set the name of the book into it. At the end of the whole thing, try and print the name of all the 3 instances of the books. So it's very simple. Create a class called book, create 3 instances of your favorite books and set names for each one of them. One of the things I'll do is I'll rename this file. So I'll say right click, refactor, rename. Because this file contains motorbike, I'll rename this to motorbike.py. And I'll create a new Python file and I'll call this book.py. You can just type in book, class book. We want to create an empty class starting off. So the art of computer programming is the first instance I would want to create. Is this the way we name variables in Python? Nope. It should be the art of computer programming. Book. Learning Python is equal to book. Learning RESTful services is equal to book. So these are, we can create instances, and for each of them I can set a name. So name for computer programming is the art of computer programming. Learning Python is equal to dot name is equal to learning Python. Learning my RESTful services is equal to learning RESTful services in 50 steps. Let's say this is 100 steps. So this is basically the way we can actually create instances and set names, set state for each of those instances. And now I can print the state of the object. How can I do that? Print learning Python dot name. Print learning RESTful services dot name. What will be the output of this program? Right click, run book, an error. Once I click on it, it would take me to the error. The mistake which we did was we did not have actually name on it. So learning services dot name. Let's run it again. And now you'd see the names of all the books printed in here. The initial versions of the motorbike and the book class that we are creating here are very basic. During the course of this section, we'll enhance these two classes to be having even more functionality. Now that we have the basic setup, we'll talk about more advanced stuff in the subsequent steps. Until then, bye-bye.